Honourable guests, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen.
We simply cannot afford to allow the corporate greed determine the future of humanity.
Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams.
Since COP26, the world has not acted, and so we in the Pacific have had to act. We have had to take our own precautionary steps with the Future Now project. As our land disappears, we have no choice but to become the world's first digital nation. Our land, our ocean, our culture are the most precious assets of our people. And to keep them safe from harm, no matter what happens in the physical world, we'll move them to the cloud.
You might have thought that this is such a National Geographic documentary by the looks of our trailer. But whoa, we ain't that serious, boo. Our subject, though, super devastating. Did you know that an average garment is worn below 10 times while its lifespan might exceed a 3-year period of constant usage? Did you know that 80% of your clothes are thrown in landfills?
Globally, it's estimated that so-called fast fashion creates 92 million tons of textile waste every year.
Garment disposal and renewal isn't cited. Take a look at this article from Bustle.com. Take a look at your clothes and consider whether or not they're outdated. If something is in there because it used to be super trendy but now isn't, and you know it's not coming back, it's time to get rid of it. Would have sounded like an okay concept if it was addressed during the 30s when a trend cycle takes from 5 to 10 years. But now, with brands competing against one another, and a head-to-toe outfit costing you less than your average evening meal, an average garment takes about 7 wears before dumping. But even so, garments do not survive beyond that, taking into consideration that supply chains are being pressured to produce at a very quick pace, that no one questions why that dress you bought is 15 pounds and is a replica of what Nicki Minaj wore yesterday. And the most exciting incentive of all, costs. Especially with current economic and social crises. I mean, when you have prices far more cheap than others completely out of reach for youngsters, you'll probably lean more into buying that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And it ain't hard math, and there is no magic either. The only way you can get this cheap clothes is to underpay workers and flout environmental standards. For that, let's take a deeper look at how this can be this in under 2 weeks. First things first, you grow this cute little crop in mass numbers, which takes up to 3,000 liters of water per t-shirt. We harvest it only for the sake of this fluffy ball. This fluffy ball then undergoes a machine-intensive process, which gives us then a thread and then a fabric. We dye the fabrics with colors that are catalysts for sales success, but also toxicity, mutagenicity, and carcinogenicity for marine life. Yay! Oh, and this is hibiscus, by the way, for educational purposes. Then we give it to a third world country we severely underpay. Ta-da! It's a polluting mess, at best.
Plastic, microfibers, and some of our textiles can enter the waterways and pollute them. Fast fashion comes with a slew of other problems.
Inks, to dyes, to caustic soda, and all sorts of alkalis and bleaches involve potentially harmful chemicals.
Hence why our dearly beloved wardrobe is the second most pollutant after the gas and oil sector.
But hey Noor, haven't we had already enough of people narrating the same sad story over and over and over again? Aren't the Mediterraneans conscious enough?
Short answer is, it's complicated. You see, the Mediterranean identity is quite the strong and vivid one, and on a parallel, fashion and attire play such a communicative function.
It's okay, but if it's my name alone, I'm the...
We all know that the way you dress influences how other people perceive you.
Especially for the Med region. It accentuates our culture even more, not to mention that Mediterranean countries have delivered to the world over and over again cultural statements through fashion that are too prominent to be called merely trends. And we have the devices for it too. Take the Paris Fashion Week for example, or the Palazzo Pitti Costume Gallery. The Amazigh and Bedouin cultures, the Egyptian or even the Islamic ones. We spread to the world waves of what is the next wearable thing. This same culture is not always benign. Consumerist habit in the Mediterranean poses a threat to our cherished ecosystems. Take, for instance, the tradition of having to buy clothes, regardless of whether it is needed or not, before holy Islamic festivities.
It's all about spoiling and being spoiled.
We bought trousers, t-shirts and a bicycle and some shoes.
Or the psychological pressure added on Kosovan women to not be seen twice in a dress for 2 weddings. And it is also not white and black. We wish it was. Economy and livelihood of the Mediterranean people are important pieces of the equation. And due to socioeconomic constraints, most Mediterranean have limited and often unsustainable choices for clothes.
Qu'ils le veuillent ou non, on fait partie de la société en fait. De manière générale, sous le seuil de pauvreté, on sort pas, on se cache, on parle pas.
And finally, the textile sector has always been one of the fundamental pillars of the Mediterranean economy. So it's not like we can ditch a whole part of our economy overnight.
Bye! Bye!
And we need to understand what's at stake here. We're not only poisoning ourselves for the sake of social poise, we're willingly eroding the most important part of who we are, our identity that was birthed on the shores of this great sea. With the Med region being one of the most vulnerable to climate change, notably to a 1.4 faster rise in temperature and a threat of entire lands getting swallowed by the same body we cherish. If action is not taken immediately, we fear that unpredictable consequences will fall upon the Mediterranean. And so, we went on a journey to find the light at the end of the tunnel. And hey, we did!
Hi Noor, how are you?
Hello everyone.
السلام عليكم. نشكركم على الاستضافة.
My name is Dorina Luca Davis and I'm the National General Secretary of the YMCA in Kosovo.
نحن العلمي الأزهر صاحب الخليلية.
So I'm Sora Salem, founder of White Gold. So for the past 2 years I've been working on my company White Gold, which is a sustainable brand that aims to revive Egyptian cotton in everyday products. And yeah, it's been a fun journey.
شركة الخليلية لاسترجاع ورسكلة النفايات فيما استرجاع الأقمشة والألبسة.
These were organizations amongst hundreds in our Mediterranean basin that took a positive step towards environmental conservation. So let's take a look at what pushed them to do it.
So I've been living in the US for some time, and specifically in California, and that's kind of like the big trend. Everyone wants to talk about the environment and how we can make it better. And one of the things that I thought was close to home for me is I wanted to see how I can do that while bringing products from Egypt. All I knew was like my grandparents used to tell me Egyptian cotton is a big deal, but I really didn't know why, or I didn't, like my knowledge of it was like non-existent. So then what I ended up doing is I ended up moving from San Francisco to Egypt to try to understand more about this industry. So I was able to partner with a company called Seekem, who is also a huge advocate for anything environmentally related. And I was able to live on their farm and meet their farmers and just get to know more that space and learn from the farmers about what is it that's special about Egyptian cotton, how is it special, how can we make it more special, and everything like that. So I just started, honestly, I didn't have a lot of background in anything that had to do with environmental related things, but the more I got into it, the more intrigued I was, and the more I felt like we all have to have a part in just being more environmentally conscious.
As for our second guest, we have the Y, or the YMCA. Rings a bell? This is a worldwide youth organization that was founded in 1844. And according to them, they're here to help you find your why, or your greater sense of purpose. One of their many influential work is the establishment of a recycling and reselling system in Kosovo.
As YMCA, we take environment very seriously in a national level, but also in a global level. All our strategies are involving the protection of environment and implementation of SDG 13, which is climate action. As YMCA, we started the first charity shop in 2015. Actually, that was the first charity shop or recycling shop in Kosovo. So we managed for the first year, once we opened the shop, to make the charity shop self-sustainable, meaning we were receiving donation of clothes, processing and then selling it back to the community in good condition, of course with a much cheaper prices, which also is affordable for everyone. Our intention is to sell the clothes, recycle, protect the environment, and then with those also create jobs for women and women with additional needs.
Between a 170-year-old worldwide organization and a local store whose owner got inspired by the positive wave of environmental awareness in America, climate action is doable. You mean easy? No, doable. And I meant to say doable because, hey, we're not up on the moon here. Stay grounded, folks.
It was a very challenging process because people don't normally recycle textile in Kosovo, so that was an opportunity for us. In general, the idea of recycling is new in the country. We tend to see that a lot of recycling plastic initiatives, perhaps, is very men-heavy activity. We're trying to challenge that and get more women involved in that. Kosovo has a big issue also with deforestation, which is something as the YMCA we're trying to address by planting more trees.
I honestly would say I expected it to be easier than what it turned out to be. I think the more we got into every single part of the supply chain, the more we realized that it's actually very, very difficult to do it 100%. People throughout the supply chain don't necessarily understand why it's important for you to be environmentally friendly, or environmentally conscious in the first place. So, there's times when we would talk to farmers and we'd be like, oh, this is why this is important, and they just don't get it. And I think a part of it is it's all of our responsibility to just communicate more why it's important, but I would say that it's definitely not an easy thing.
And our biggest challenge yet, our culture that pushes consumers to, consume more. Consumerism is defined as the preoccupation of society with the acquisition of consumer goods. The definition itself sounds pretty apocalyptic to me, because you are constantly told through marketing to go get more, that what you have isn't enough, that your life will be fixed just with the next denim you buy.
You better fix my entire life, you little
The more people spend, or so the logic goes, the better it is for everybody, right? But it overlooks very, very important factors. People are often persuaded to buy what they don't need, and as demand heightens, producers drop production standards to answer to consumers' demands. And yet, we are promised an unrealistic quality that is only sustained till it's too late for people to protest poor production.
Looks like there's a coat hanger or a curtain rod in my blazer.
And finally,
Out of the 23 Mediterranean countries, 12 are developing ones, with an average wage that renders people unable to sustain such lifestyle. A lifestyle that can be easily altered if presented with the right arguments anyways. But how can I convince people that this harmless, cute skirt is the center of a hot drama? And for a good reason. Well, the answer is quite simple actually.
Raise awareness.
Raise awareness.
Raising awareness.
Raise awareness.
To raise awareness.
Raise awareness.
Awareness.
Awareness. Awareness is concern about and well-informed interest in a particular situation. And the thing is, for awareness to be fruitful, it has to be coupled with actions intended to create change. But how can change be made if actions are disproportionate with reality, all because our perception of reality was distorted, flawed, or not there at all? Thing is, it's not really about reaching out to oblivious people anymore. Climate what? It's more like, has people truly gotten to the bottom of it? And the thing is with the Mediterranean, you don't want to think that everyone has the same access of knowledge that you have. But oh my god, is it far from true.
fast fashion industry هدوم وكانت في examples زي زارا H&M Shein
وانا برضو اعتقد ان الناس ما عندهاش awareness كفايه بالدامج اللي بيحصل او الكونسيكونسز whether هي financial environmental اللي بتحصل من ان الحاجات دي بتتعمل.
مش هشتري حاجه غاليه لان مش الحاجه اللي هجيبها دي اللي هتفرق في البيئه، مش شخص واحد قصدي يعني.
استهلاك الميه الرهيب بتعمل تي شيرت او بتعمل هدوم عامه.
ايه رايك على الفاست فاشن؟
فازم شمباك for adolescents شمباك كمان شيء سيدين
مفيش مكان او مفيش اماكن كتيره.
في دريفت ستور في المعادي حلوه.
الارمر تقريبا جزمه من بيلس رب الخير اللي هو اللي في سان ستيفانو ده الاوفر ده كيوت. اوكي ساعه من كازيو حزازه سيدي جابر حزازه باريس حزازه ايطاليا وجاكيت من فتح الله.
محدش هيقدر يدي او يعمل حاجه just because maybe they're not aware مش عايزين يبقوا aware عشان هي accessible عشان هي رخيصه.
هي نوع من انواع التجاره يعني.
بجيب من فيها.
يعني مثلا 4 حاجات شيك وحاجه واحده مجرد عملت بالانس على قد ما اننيش مثلا بس ما تعرف الموضوع.
Sayılar normale textilet e problemet krijan betjen från chakana profundo chofnen toka på den här.
Do you thrift يا عبد الله؟
You see, within Mediterranean societies, socioeconomic factors do not only dictate your level of awareness, but also your choices as a consumer. So, be it your level of education, your culture, your financial situation, or the amount of go buy me messages that get drilled into your brain every day. We do not all perceive the situation or the solution equally. Even on the Mediterranean level, Mediterranean countries perceive the reality of the crisis differently.
Because we know that every kilowatt hour of electricity that we generate
منطقة شمال أفريقيا يتقدم بأسرع وتيرة من أي منطقة أخرى.
From renewable sources is not only good for our climate,
الطازة بدأت تختفي.
but also good for our independence and our security of supply.
And that's simply because these countries were affected differently by the climate crisis. For example, although climate change will have a significant impact on the Mediterranean's southern shoreline, its northern shore will also be significantly affected by its societal implications.
I think honestly the solution is one, just a lot of education to everyone, customers involved, so every single one of us, but also brands. I think it goes on both ends. I think the reason why I think education is the most important, because I think when people are really conscious of the effect that they're having on their everyday decisions, whether it be, what they're buying or what they're disposing or how they're disposing it or the choices that they're making, I think everyone will just, that's where the change will really happen.
To have a better and clear view, we need to understand that the climate change discourse is not only endless data and scientific facts, but it is also the understanding of the context in which this phenomenon is happening. Especially that this...
I have no concern about that. The Earth is always changing. Climate change is nothing you have to prove.
You'd have to show me the scientists.
Your carbon footprint.
Your carbon footprint.
Your carbon footprint
is where fillers, filters, and distortions are frequently applied. Oh, so I need to raise awareness to both give a proportionate action and have effective results. So don't throw a tantrum the next time your solutions don't have the desired effect. It's just that people are distanced from the problem. And this is particularly why Shein, Zara, and H&M have always had the upper hand.
I would like the upper hand.
Marketing. Clever marketing. And it's not as simple as shouting in the street anymore, or asking you if you need it, or making you favor one item over the other, when really you might not want either. Now, it's more sneaky, subliminal, and in our fashion world, it's about branding.
It's a Vuitton.
Branding is the process of creating a distinct identity for a business in the mind of your consumers. Brands communicate in different ways to consumers personality traits that consumers identify with or wish to emulate, such as being trendy, young, wealthy, or unique. And it's exactly what gets us hooked. This means that brands nowadays do not only sell textiles with a design, it sells an identity, and which makes an attack on the brand as an attack on thyself.
A brand that is not distinguishable will most certainly lack relevance, consumer loyalty, and at the end of the day, sales. The companies not only sell products, they also sell a way of expressing oneself through those products.
We call that brand loyalty. Take Zara's European roots, unpretentious, grayscale, mysterious aesthetic, to H&M's, oh my god, we're so happy, life's good, we're having fun, we're youthful aesthetic.
Balenciaga you're wearing. We are strong and tough and unapproachable. Show me that Balenciaga look. Oh, I'm sorry. I think it's back to H&M again. Yay, we're just kidding. We're so cheap. We're so happy. Yes. Everybody come closer together. Balenciaga's back. Ooh, fiercer than ever. We are stone cold. Yes. Oh my God, get away from us. H&M is here again. Yay. Balenciaga. And H&M. Balenciaga. And H&M. Ow, everybody give it up for these guys.
To Shein, or as Salem Trevor called it, the Shein-pocalypse. If you think Zara and Gap and American Eagle are fast fashion, this is ultra-fast fashion. And it gave a variety and prices that were impossible to turn away from, which presented an argument against sustainable brands who had to be more expensive.
I think it's a tough thing, honestly, especially because not all customers necessarily understand the importance or the work that goes into making a brand that's sustainable. Like, we're so used to fast fashion and, we just go after whatever is cheapest and whatever is available. So the thing that I struggled with, and I think all sustainable brands continue to struggle with, especially ones that are making timeless pieces, like what White Gold is making. You can find a white shirt in like any of these brands, right? Like any of the very fast fashion companies, you can just find them for super cheap. But one of the things is like recognizing that it's not for everyone. I think that's like one thing that all sustainable brands just have to come to terms with, is some people are just not going to understand the importance of it, and you kind of just have to like just wait until hopefully they kind of realize the importance of it. So definitely it's always going to be a little bit more expensive than your typical white shirt that you can get from like any of these stores. Because because a lot of things, one, from like the raw material to the work that goes into like every part of the process to make sure that it's ethical and sustainable and environmentally conscious. But some people will always, like, it's happened a couple of times when we've had customers come to us and they're like, why is it this expensive? Like, why can't it be, like how much I would pay for my typical shirt from any of these stores? And we just have to educate them to say, like, these are all the reasons for why it's more expensive.
And I get it. We're at an age where social insecurity, or the fact that we desperately want to fit in, override any other senses, like ethical consumption maybe.
نشاط إعادة تدوير نفايات الموضة لا يعرف صدى واسع في الجزائر لدى المؤسسات الرسكالة. السبب هو غياب ثقافة إعادة تدوير الملابس والأقمشة لدى المواطنين والسعي وراء كل ما هو جديد.
And so we shove these different wearable personalities in your face day in, day out, and we try to make you think that you have the decision, but yet we try to manipulate you by delivering subliminal messages in the music, the colors, the shapes, to drive you closer to buying fast fashion.
Brand loyalty is one of the biggest things that companies are trying to appeal to in their advertisements. Now, a lot of brand loyalty is quantified through customer purchases and repeat visits, But what people tend to forget is that loyalty is an emotional attachment. In this day and age, customers are looking for in their brands what they look for in a friendship. And that's personalization, empathy, responsiveness, and contextual awareness. Advertisers know that music creates an emotional response in us, and they use that to their advantage.
This raises a very interesting question. Should we market for sustainability? Or can we have a brand identity that's not about being cutthroat or trendy or young, but rather about being conscious? The tricky part here is that no one wants to be the fun killer in any group. And that is exactly how the media wants to portray conscious people. It's like no one wants to look like Greta Thunberg, an amazing and inspiring woman that was painted as a fanatic by media to push you away from becoming like her.
Ignorant and lazy adults that have robbed me of my future, by which I mean network executives, have told me to bring a lighter touch and also to cover afternoon drive times.
If it were about science, it would be led by scientists rather than by politicians and a mentally ill Swedish child who is being exploited by her parent.
Although she claims to be vegan, judging from how she looks, her carbon emissions are not so low herself. Oh, okay, it's not a fart joke, it's a fat joke.
Nonetheless, it is these individuals' guts to go against the tides that truly inspires. And this is what they had to say about support, collaborations, and the future.
We received support by the European Union in Kosovo about placing containers, recycling containers that have around different cities. We also collaborate with local municipalities, giving us permission to place containers around the city, as well as we're now in schools collaborating to place more containers to collect textile products in order for us to recycle, reuse, and place them in our shops for sale. So there is a process going on.
I think general brands that are kind of advocating for the same thing, I think we can all do a better job at advocating for each other. I think is another big thing too. Like, I think one thing that I've been working to do and I think would be very exciting to see is different sustainable brands collaborating with each other so that you can have the reach of both brands can help each other and you get the exposure from all ends. I think with the way that the general industry is going, I think a lot of the brands that currently are very not sustainable are realizing that customers actually care, are starting to care a lot more about it. So I think that a lot of the companies that do want to stay relevant and that do want to continue being around are going to have to adopt sustainable just general practices in what they do. Like you see today, H&M, for example, which was known to be like super fast fashion, you can get things for super cheap and you have no idea like where's the raw material coming from, who's working on your products. You see them now having a line of organic cotton like jeans, and you see them trying to show where their factories and where their farms and so on. So I think with this movement, I see a lot of the brands just like realizing that, one part is to stay relevant, but also because this is what customers are wanting to have more.
Quite a journey, huh? And I'm here to tell you that we've been euthanized for so long by profiteers to the point where it's very hard to believe that fashion is a killer on our planet. Consumer-centric industries like to make you believe that you have a choice every time they manipulate you into buying. And yet, they make the illusion that it's not up to you anymore when it's time to take a stand. But it is. You are the consumer and you have that power. But hey, don't be harsh on yourself. And it's not like I'm here to tell you, get rid of all your clothes and wear tree leaves instead. But what I'm telling you is to halt the cycle and to be more conscious. And to hold all your clothes, sustainable or not, that you already have dearly, so that it stays just as long as my mother's pullover. It is doable. And most importantly, stay open-minded. And who knows, maybe you'll get inspired just like White Gold Sarah did. God. We might conclude from this documentary that action stems from knowledge, and it is hazy on the actual number of the Mediterranean contribution to this crisis, especially in the fashion industry. Some argue that it is due to confusing borders of what we may define as Mediterranean and what we may not. But it does not excuse the lack of scientific research and focus we have on our subject. So we ask you, in the name of the Mediterranean youth, spread the word, tell your friends and family, and support your council, the Mediterranean Youth Council.
C'est des jeunes de la Méditerranée.
Méditerranée.
Méditerranée.